The Gentle Giant. In the countryside in the south of England, there lies the Bluebell Railway. Like Sodor, it is a safe haven for steam engines. But one of their biggest residents is a heavy goods train, with 10 driving wheels and a large long boiler. It was a British Rail 9F locomotive, but he was never given a name, so everyone called him 9F. One day, 9F was in the sheds, where Mr. Murdoch came to see him. He was one of the volunteer drivers and a good friend to 9F. He had just come back from a railway meeting. "I've got bad news, old friend," said Mr. Murdoch. "Money is tight at the moment, and we can't afford to waste coal on a powerful engine like you. So you'll be fired up one weekend a month." "I understand," said 9F. 9F shared his shed with a terrier tank engine called Stepney. He tried to cheer his friend up. "Don't worry," he said. "Summer's not far away, and we'll need all the help we can get." "Thanks, Stepney. But I love working. I miss the days I would pull long-distance goods trains with 15 or 20 trucks behind me. I love to stretch my wheels again." Stepney felt sad. He'd often complained that the line was too short for him. He'd never thought how it must have felt for a big engine like 9F. For the next few months, 9F stayed in the sheds. He watched as the other steam engines pulled the passenger trains. Over time, he started to get used to his quiet life, but he couldn't wait for his time to come out. When his weekend came, his trains was full of enthusiasts who enjoyed 9F's trains. They treated his trains like a special event. Many months later, it was time for 9F to take a train. On a Sunday evening, 9F backed down onto the coaches. On the platform, 9F saw a lady walking up to him. "Excuse me, I have a cab ticket for this service." "Welcome aboard," said Mr. Murdoch. 9F was confused. "Sorry, miss, I don't get many ladies wanting to travel in my cab." "I know," she replied, "but I love steam engines. You could say it runs in the family." "Well, nice to meet you. They call me 9F. "Hello, 9F. I'm Bridget." She smiled to the engine, and then climbed into his cab. 9F then set off up the line. On the way, Bridget asked 9F lots of questions about his life and career. At the end station, while he was waiting for his return run, 9F asked Bridget a question. "You seem to know a lot about steam engines. Do you work for a railway?" "Oh yes," said Bridget. "I work on one in the north." "That's a long way to come for a cab ride?" asked 9F. "I'm on holiday, and between you and me, I've always wanted to see a 9F locomotive in action." "I wouldn't say this is me in action," said 9F, and he then told her about how he doesn't come out of the shed often. "Everybody on this railway has been so kind, but I do miss a good long run." "I see," said Bridget, and she thought hard. Soon 9F left for his return run, and Bridget left to find a telephone box. 9F enjoyed his time with Bridget. "That lady really knows how to treat steam engines," he thought to himself. The next day was Monday, and 9F was ready to stay in the sheds for the next few weeks. But he was surprised to see Mr. Murdoch coming towards him. "You won't believe it, mate, but the controller of the North Western Railways contacted the board last night. He's heard about you and is interested in buying you for his main line goods work." 9F was surprised, and he asked how the controller knew him. Then he saw Bridget approaching them. "It was me. My full name is Bridget Hatt, and my father is the controller of the NWR. He's been looking for a new heavy goods engine, and I've recommended you." 9F beamed the biggest smile in months. "Are you coming too, Mr. Murdoch?" he asked. "Sorry, mate, but I'm too old for adventures like these. Besides, the Bluebell Railway needs me. I understand. I'm going to miss you. May I make a suggestion? Asked Bridget. If you're going to the island of Sodor, you're going to need a name. All Sodor engines do. How about we call you Murdoch? A smashing idea, replied 9F. If that's alright with you, Mr. Murdoch. I'd be honoured. Soon the arrangements had been made, and the Bluebell Railway arranged a quick going-away event for 9F. Lots of people came for one last ride on the 9F. They even quickly made 2 nameplates for him and hung them on his smoke deflectors. Mr. Murdoch was given the honours of leading the naming ceremony. I named this engine Murdoch. Everyone cheered and wished good luck to Murdoch. A few days later, 2 large lorries came to take Murdoch to Barrow-in-Furness. As Murdoch was being loaded, Stepney spoke to him. Hey Murdoch, can you give a message to Duck and Thomas from me when you get to Sodor? Of course I will, Murdoch replied. When Murdoch was loaded onto their trailers, he said his goodbyes one last time to all his friends, and he was then on his way to Barrow. Good luck, Murdoch, Stepney called out. He watched until Murdoch was out of sight. Soon Murdoch would be on the island of Sodor.